Hi, I'm Cory, and I'm here in snowy Chicago today. And instead of going outside, I'm going to wait for the snow to stop. And I thought it would be fun to play a solo game. A lot of people send in notes asking how to play solo. I want to play Children of the Moon. Today we're playing Enter Perdition, which is this one, comes in the starter set. And we're going to go to page 17 and Enter Perdition solos up here. And I'm just going to read this to you. It's very simple. Many players have invented ways to play the WitchBorn as a solo game. With the app, you'll enjoy a lot of random encounters and be able to level up your war clan. Here are some tips to playing Enter Perdition by yourself and getting in a challenging game. You are the player and the GM. If you try equally hard for your war clan and the plains denizens, it can be a lot of fun. Use the Enter Perdition setup rules previous, earlier in the book. It tells you how to set up and play. Use 6 discovery markers instead of 5. And be sure not to read ahead on the Discovery app. Read the boxed white description and decide your course of action before checking the GM notes. This assures you're challenged and not always making the right decision. So before we do that, why don't I jump in here and let's place those random discoveries. So I'm going to type /R 12d6. And I'm going to get a whole jumble of numbers. First one here is 31. So I am going to grab a discovery marker. Oh, and by the way, I'm playing on the Roll20 map, which everybody's welcome to join. Just shoot me a note. And we play regular games on Tuesday nights and one Saturday a month usually. And the reason why I'm doing it here rather than with tabletop and miniatures is I don't need a cameraman. I can truly play solo here. There's no way I could film this and show myself playing solo. And it's going to be the same experience either way. So why not make it easy on myself? And we've got one at 64 and one at 33. If you're playing at home, you would just roll dice. And I'm going to zoom out here. And you can see I've kind of got my work cut out for me. I'm going to be traveling the entire map. And then back to it, basically it was telling me not to jump ahead on the app and pre-read. And speaking of which, why don't I pull the app up and we're going to go to apps.witchborn.com and you're going to see whole list of available apps. And we're going to go to Enter Perdition. And just in case that this is not a new game, maybe I used it for something else, I'm going to go over, let me get that on screen so that you can see. This works the same whether you're playing on a phone or a desktop or a laptop or a tablet. But I'm going to hit these 3 bars up here, and I'm going to go to Start a New Game, and it's going to say yes. All right. So simple. Go back to our main screen here and we'll read. It's going to say double up on plains denizens. Since no one else is competing for the airship cargo, double your war clan value when the app lists the number of creatures appearing. For an encounter like fresh meat, you'll face twice as many direwolves, so it'll be a tougher test. Even still, there's a chance there won't be anything to fight at all. It's all random. If I hit no monsters today, near the end I'll just cheat and draw a couple times until we get a monster. I just want to make sure that we get some combat in there. And then the aftermath, once the game's over, you're going to win unless eliminated by the Plains Denizens, which is a possibility. If I get a nasty one, I might get knocked out today. I'm going to read the aftermath on page 7 and claim my rewards. For loot, if my war clan value is over 200, which it is not, I am playing a 169 clan. But if it was over 200, I'm going to subtract 2 gold from my earnings. And 3 gold if my value is over 300. We can play Enter Perdition solo again, clan battle. We could move on to play the pit. And one of my favorite adventures that you can play on this map is Burning Sky. And that's a real challenge in solo mode. Depending on time and stuff, I may do a video on that one as well. It's a lot of fun. If you've been watching our live streams, we've played a updated version of Burning Sky called Burning Sky Redux, and it's even more challenging. And that's going to hopefully release at some point. But, you know, I've got, with the GameFound crowdfunding project, a lot of things on the table. All right, so let's get those guys out of the way. I am going to roll a d6, and this is going to be my staging area. And I'm going to start in staging area 5, which is a great one to start in. I'm going to pull my wolves onto the map. And I'm going to, real quick, I'm starting in the middle of the board. And I am going to look at my spells on my Moon Dancer. Cold Fire, Becalm, Windwalk. All good ones. Here is the one thing I don't like about this solo game. The smartest thing for me to do would be to cast all 3 spells on all my guys, which would take me round after round after round after round after round to do. Hey, I'm going to do a quick cut here. As I'm reading the rules here in this beautiful solo play in Enter Perdition, I'm realizing that this was written a long time ago, like 8-9 years ago. And it was before War Mage Diary and a lot of this discussion of metagaming and that kind of stuff. And so the instinctive thing to do would be to spend the first few rounds casting as many spells as you can to buff up your warriors. And there's no threat. And anything we've learned over the years is 1 spell caster per clan max, and don't give them time to buff, because if you go into the game with all these spells already on your warriors, there's no real challenge, right? You know, you need to really really play and really have a challenge. So I'm going to add a discovery trigger to these rules, and they won't be necessary for the clan battle version or the Burning Sky version, because you've got a constant threat. You're not going to be able to take 20-30 minutes to buff all your guys before the game really starts. And so if you need to know about discovery triggers, that was invented in Wandering Forest, which has been out of print for a while. But it's in Field of Screams, and it's basically a extra chit of a different color, and the last warrior who to take a turn is going to be the one who suffers the effects of the discovery trigger. All right, so let's get back to the rest of the demo, and you'll see as we go on, it starts to give me a challenge as bad things start to pop out. So it's great. But I'm going to put one random chit in the cup. Actually, I haven't explained that yet. Each one of my warriors gets one green chit in the cup. So I'm going to put 6 in the cup for my warriors. I'm going to put 1 discovery trigger in there. And that's going to create a random encounter for me if I dilly-dally. Going to make the solo game much more exciting and much more fruitful. Gives me a chance to earn more shadow. And I much prefer that. So that's good. All right, so that's going to... You notice my guys are each in little burrows that they can dig. You notice Raygender is the only one with a name. And that is because wolves don't get named until they're blooded. They make their first kill. I'm going to start like this. I'm going to send my stalker out on her own, because she has this skill called Stalk, which means for all intents and purposes, she is hiding from everybody, almost like she's invisible. This discovery trigger is going to make it a much more fun game than rules is written. And I got to tell you what we're up to here and why those discovery markers are out there. So rather than summarize, I'm going to read what's in the book. It's pretty short. My world has been upended by the cataclysm. Now demonic WitchBorn spirits possess fresh corpses to walk again. They rise up faster, stronger, and smarter than in life. Their bloodlust is insatiable. They are ravenous invaders overrunning Perdition. And we number among the few bands of roaming survivors, maybe all that's left of our kind. We scavenge these desolate plains for anything to help on our journey to a paladin stronghold called Asylum. Well, the wolves won't be going there because big, hulking wolves that walk upright are pretty scary. And they all start with a trait called Rancor. And rancor is means that they're going to have really bad reaction checks. The other thing is wolves have no form of speech. They are mutants. They have telepathy. So, and hopefully some of that shows itself as we play. Before long, a fiery blast rocks the plain. Overhead, a Javinar airship trails smoke from its primitive wooden hull. So this is flying. This little airship here. Let's zoom in on it a bit. Let's get everything on the map there. The pilot sways in the burning fuselage, jettisoning cargo to stay aloft. But before the airship succumbs to gravity, before long, the airship succumbs to gravity. It crashes nearly a league away, the pilot almost certainly dead. The airship's discarded cargo spreads out in a line to be swallowed in the vast Cassel plain. There are no WitchBorn in sight. Why let that cargo be forgotten? It's on your way, after all. All right, so my mission is basically to make all these discoveries and hopefully find some airship cargo. And once I do, all I have to do is carry it safely off the map and I win. And like I said, I am playing against the app here. So I'm going to draw, and more than likely it is going to be a discovery trigger, which cannot happen on the first turn. So I'm going to throw it back in the cup. boy, I just keep pulling it. All right. I am up with any one of my guys. And I'm going to go with my Moon Dancer first. And she is going to cast Moonglow. I'm sorry. She's going to cast Cold Fire on 4 warriors, so 4 comrades. And that's going to give them +2 to damage with melee attacks and +0 with their injury rolls. And the important thing here is it's a zoom in a little bit. It is an auto spell, which means that I don't have to spellcast. You're going to notice a lot of blue spells, sky and water spells are auto, and that is because Moon Dancers usually start with a 2 Psyche. When she leveled, she got Psyche +1, so she is much smarter than most other Moon Dancers, but you can see like my Stalker is a 1 Psyche, so she's much smarter than most wolves. Alright, so spell is off successfully since it's auto, and I'm going to get 4 Cold Fire templates out, and that's increasing my damage, so that's making me much more lethal in melee. Alright. Alright, and then next up is me again. And I'm going to look at my sheet. I've got Peeker's Monocle on Huntress number 5. That allows her to make Psyche feats better. So I buried her in a bad spot. She's in the back. And she's got a speed of 7. And I'm feeling probably a little overconfident here. Oh. Since I started in a burrow, I can't spread out. I can't sprint out of the burrow. So, but I'm going to head her off on her own. Whoops. Be sure if you're playing online to hit, get it on screen here, there's a button called Linger. And that lets the arrow tool stay up. So I'm coming over, and you're going to get an X there. 3 in a row for me. So I am going to get my Stalker moving. She's a little slower. She moves at a 6. She's going to come up and lend some support to number 5 if number 5 gets into trouble. And normally there's a 3 in a row rule, but when we use a discovery trigger, we ignore the 3 in a row rule. It just, I don't remember how fast my Packmaster is. Oh yeah, good thing I checked. My Packmaster, even though I forgot to write it in here, got doubles. I did mark it down here, I just didn't write it as a skill. He took Swift as his first skill. So instead of a 7 speed, he's a 9 speed with a charge of 5. So he is, you know, a little ungodly. So he's going to head north. And again, he can't sprint, otherwise I might consider getting him up there. While he's in this smoke here from the airship, he can't be seen, but I can't put him within reach of the fire. So we'll put him off to the side a little bit here. And finally, the discovery trigger. So the way this works is it goes to the warrior who last took the turn. And we're going to hit draw. And I've got foreshadowing of death. This is not a good one. So the first thing it tells me is to award him 2 shadow points. So he's going to be up to 8. The good news for me is after the game, he's going to hit level 2. 15 is level 2. So then I'm going to get to try out some of the new Wulfs stuff. And let's go ahead and read it. Foreshadowing of death. Folklore is filled with stories of ravens as omens of death. Now dark harbingers literally circle over my head. Distracted by the ravens, pain shoots through my foot. Actually, my paw. I just stepped on a dagger lodged in the firethorn with its point sticking straight up. Could today get worse? So first thing I'm going to do is not reading ahead. I'm going to see I have to roll an injury outcome for my discoverer. So /R D6. I'm hoping to roll low here. 1 through 3 is merely staggered. That's mildly hurt. Put that on my guy, and I'm feeling pretty good about that. What I'm not going to feel good about is if I'm not wounded, my day gets worse. I'm cursed and unable to reroll any dice for the adventure. This includes any reroll from command to deadly aim to a blessing spell. Of course, I can claim the elven dagger worth 1 gold piece. Just wipe the blood off first. All right. So indeed, I am going to claim the dagger. And it's worth 1 gold piece. So I'm going to type that in. And let's save that change. And then I need a little reminder that I get no rerolls. I don't think I have any anyway. But it's always good to get in the habit. This is a backbiter curse, wrong curse. This raven is the foreshadowing of death. And hopefully you can see that on screen. Little tool tips pop up. And that will... We'll zoom in on them a little closer. So that little icon is a reminder that for me, and if I was playing against other players, that I can't use rerolls. In the heat of the game, you make mistakes all the time. And so it's always good to have those little clues. All right, Rage Ender is a huntress, and they have this cool skill called Leap, and she can go up to her speed with a jump. I don't like to clump my warriors up. You can see that I'm kind of, even though these two are working together, they're not standing side by side. It's a good habit to get into because there are ranged spell effects. We won't see them in this game, but eventually we will start to see them. All right. And number 3, let's do some advanced rules here. Number 3 is going to stay next to my mage and do what's called a hold. I'm going to put this chit off to the side, and if I need to interrupt at some point, let's say some bad monster pops out and I need to turn right away to take that bad monster on, I can use that chit to hold. The other reason for maybe hanging back is maybe the mage is going to get off another spell like Becalm or Windwalk on the 2 of us. And I don't want to run everybody away from my mage and then make my mage play catch up all the time. All right. So the chits go back in the cup, all except for that one held one. And when we're playing online, to get rid of those red X's, I hit exclamation point and type reset. And that will reset everybody. And it is going to be me up. All right, so my number 5 is the one with Peeker's Monocle, and she has a speed of 7. So I'm going to have her go her full 7. And she's going to investigate at this marker. All right, we're going to put an X. Investigating uses Psyche. All right, so we're number 5. Huntress is unnamed yet. And Huntresses are actually pretty smart. They have a 2 Psyche. And she's the one with that Peeker's Monocle. So here's my modifiers. I'm going to type D6/R D6. I get to add +2 for my Psyche. I get to add +2 for Peeker's Monocle. Oh, and I didn't tell you that all wolves have this skill called Instinct that does a lot of great things. And I've even kind of called it out IN there. Besides making my route feet better, I've got a really good sniffer, and I get to add +2 to my roll when I'm making a discovery feat. So I am D6 +6. I need a 7 or better to succeed. The only way I can fail is to roll that lowest number. And I almost rolled it. I rolled an 8, so I do succeed. And see, if it's something bad, I've already got my hiding stalker waiting there. And we go back to the app, and I hit draw. I have no idea what this is going to be, and it's nothing bad. So the first thing it's going to tell me is I'm going to add 1 shadow point to Huntress. And that's going to take her up to 10. So she's on her way to 15, which is 2nd level. And I go ahead and read. Ruins. The footings of a crumbled stone building are overgrown with brown tufted grass. Remnants of a recent fire smolder, though no one is here now. The encampment is worth a look, but searching will eat up valuable time. Mark a discoverer who investigates with a strike last condition marker. All right, so I'm going to investigate, and that means I'm going to strike last. And that's good news. I'm going to find free loot, basically. All right. And the bad news is I am going to get a discovery trigger on my number 5. So this is why I'm not stalling here. So I'm going to draw. And this one's also good. 1 shadow point. For me, I've written all these, and I've played this hundreds of times in demos, so I kind of know what's good and bad. But from time to time, I do update the apps, so hopefully we'll always keep the mystery for you guys. A hand-painted bottle of beautiful cobalt blue nestles in the prairie grass. The ornate bottle is of Javannar design, shaped like a genie bottle. Maybe a genie could grant a wish for gold and riches, or an end to the WitchBorn. You'll never know without a closer look. So to investigate, I might as well look for that while I'm looking for the other. So I'm going to get a strike last condition. So I've got 2 things to search for next turn. So that's kind of cool. All right. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit. Go ahead with my mage. I know I'm not going to get any strange discovery popping up. There is a lot of bad weather. Oops. Let's get you on the screen. There's a lot of bad weather. So Becalm is a thought, but Becalm can be cast at range. I think I'm going to do Wind Walk. I want to get her out of the burrow so that she isn't trapped there. and can sprint next turn. And then I'm going to go with number 3, so I'm going to use that held chit. I don't have to. If I hold a chit, I can use it for anybody, but I was never endangered this round, so I'm going to go ahead and get her out of the burrow as well. Oh, she's got a speed of 7. Let's go one more. I guess I could have walked on the water and showed you how that worked, but no big deal. All right. And I'm going to be up again. Rage Ender is going to leap. But she's very close to leveling, so I wouldn't mind her making this discovery. So I am going to jump my 7 paces. My leap. And hopefully that doesn't please be in reach of fire. It would. So I am going to push once. And if I make this, I'm going to push one more time and try to make that discovery. So, the way you push is you roll a d6, and anything but that lowest number is going to be successful. So I made the first push. I'm still within reach of the airship, so I've got to go again. I'm going to go one more. /R, d6, and another 3. I am not singed by getting too close, and I get to search with Rage Ender. Now, remember, Rage Ender got that Psyche bump, so she is a 3 Psyche plus the Instincts, another +2 modifier. So I'm going to roll d6. D6 plus 3 plus 2 for the instinct bonus. So I'm at +5. I'm pretty darn good here. And auto fail. So the bad news is I failed, almost unfailable. The good news is no matter what, she makes it next turn, because even a 1 Psyche Orc can find something after a bit of time, right? All right, so I've only got 1 left, and that is my Stalker. She's a little slower. She's going to creep up, and she's going to have to squeeze through those stones, so she's only going to be able to go 5 paces. And she's going to get a little cover in case there's a fairy or somebody who can see through her hiding. And she's in a really good defensive position there. All right. So my leader got hurt last round. Let's zoom in on him. And he got hurt. And he's going to activate in the last strike phase and no longer be hurt. And he's going to take a turn, and I'm going to look at his skills here. All right. One of the things that we're doing new in when the new Children of the Moon come out is there will be no such thing as no transformation. If you get no transformation, it's going to be swim instead, because as I've pointed out, all living creatures on our Earth can swim, even though you don't think they can. You know, can an elephant swim? Yes, it can. Can a horse swim? Yes, it can. And so some of the wolves are going to have swim. And because he has a speed of 9, he's going to swim pretty fast. All right, so It's going to cost 2 paces to get up to the edge, because there are no fractional. And that leaves him with 7 movement left. And swimming is every 1 pace costs you double. So unfortunately, that's going to cost him 6. So he's at 8. And his next step would be on to land. So he's going to be able to get partway back onto land for 9. So see that swift skill, not only did it make him 2 faster on land, it made him 1 faster in the water. So that's pretty useful. New round begins. So I'm going to throw all the chits back in the cup, except for my number 5 over here. She's the last striker because she's going to be searching her butt off here. All right, so I'm going to do reset. And let's see who's up. It is the discovery trigger. So it's going to be my leader who's got his butt half in, half out of water. He's got no rerolls. This could be bad news. We'll find out. Going to hit draw. And this one's called Storms A-Brewing. And he's going to earn 1 shadow point, so he's having a great game here. He's up to 9 shadow earned. And he's definitely already made it to 2nd level for next time. All right, Storms A-Brewing. Howling winds churn dust and ash, making it difficult to see. Blowing grit tear your exposed skin like WitchBorn teeth. A dust storm is going to limit line of sight to short range for missiles, magic, and spells. For missiles, strong winds make missile combat nearly impossible. Shooters never get more than 1 attack die, no matter modifiers or skills. Flyers are grounded. We don't have to worry about that. Warriors with survival. This skill or the Becalm spell give immunity to the storm. Well, guess what? I am going to write a note on the map here so that we don't forget. I am in a terrible habit of forgetting. So we're going to change the color of the text to white. We're going to do it bold. We're going to do it, let's do it 40 point. Let's go line of sight, short range, missiles, 1 die. And hopefully we'll show you what that means. But I'm also going to cast Becalm on as many guys as I can so that I can ignore that penalty. I am going to go with my number 10, who's a little bit hidden there. And she's going to head back. She's got to squeeze through those stones. So she's going to go 1 less. She's only going to go 5. And she's going to drop her hiding. It's easy to reestablish with stalk so that my mage can see her clearly. All right. Then my mage is going to go up and can easily charge there for 3. Actually, let's do it right. Let's measure it out. Yeah, I think I had done it perfectly, but I don't want people to get in bad habits where they don't measure. All right, so Becalm has a range of point blank. I'll show you what that is, and it does 3 comrades. So and it's an auto spell. So it can even do mounts and that kind of stuff if you don't want them affected by bad weather. And so point blank is 4 paces. So well beyond these 2. And so she's also going to do herself because If she had a spell that went a long range, she would not want to be limited. So we give them, I don't know if you can see that or not, but the tooltip comes up so small. All right. But if I hover over it, it says Becalm. All right. Becalm. If you are playing on the tabletop, you would write Becalm as a skill on your sheet. And then it's one that goes away after the adventure. So that's going to put them in better stead, and so might as well go with number 3. And I haven't shown you how sprinting works yet. So number 3 is pretty fast. She's got a speed of 7. Whoops, sorry, speed of 7. And she's a beast talker, which I don't know if that will come into play this game, but I'm going to send her for the farthest one because she's already got the Becalm and the Windwalk on her. And so she's going to go 14. Which is double her normal speed. And we're going to X her. But she's also going to be tired because she doesn't have anything to drink or a skill called Endurance or any of those things. Endurance would not be a bad one for this turn. So she'll become a Last Striker. And that means she's huffing and puffing. And she's going to be winded, so she's going to be the last to go next round. And then back over here with Range Ender, almost forgot about her. She's going to auto-discover, and assuming she doesn't get her face ripped off by WitchBorn or something, she will get to finish her turn. So let's see what that discovery is. Uh-oh. Black Snake Moan. All right, so first thing is I'm going to give her, so it's Rage Ender, whoops, Rage Ender. She's going to earn 1 shadow point. She's on her way to a level. And put her off to the side. This one won't affect her. Redraw if no rider or warrior on foot is within 8 paces of the king snake near the standing stones. Well, unfortunately, you can see I'm well within 8 there. And number 10, because she moved, is a little farther. Probably a good thing. And we'll go back and read the encounter. King Snake shimmers as it twists through the dry plains grass. Fangs sink into a vulnerable ankle, and a terrified moan follows. Just as quickly, the King Snake slithers into the underbrush. So I'm going to roll an injury outcome for the nearest warrior or rider. And there is a note in here that says the victim is rarely the discoverer, though the discoverer does witness the attack. All right. So I got to roll an injury on my number 5 there. Let's make sure that that is on screen. Yes. All right. So my number 5, I'm rolling a d6, and I want a low number like a 1 here. Yay. Usually if you call it out. So she was already striking last, so this is not really a bad thing because she's going to recover from that and be just fine. And for this game, the King Snake is considered no longer there. And so I can walk on that snake without any bad effects. Oh, and I did forget. Rage Ender gets to finish her turn. And she is just... I'm worried about these discovery triggers. Sooner or later, I'm going to get something bad. So she is going to sprint her 14. You notice I'm taking kind of a odd angle. I can't sprint across water. And so she's going to sprint up there. She's going to be a last striker next turn. And she's huffing and puffing and she's tired. All right, so all that leaves us is my last striking chit that I had put aside. And that is my number 5. And if we remember, she had 2 things she was searching. All right, so let's see if I can make this show up on screen. Gonna have to, let's crush the window in a little bit. All right, let's crush it in a lot. All right, so there is this little series of dots up here, and clicking on that allows me to see old encounters that have already gone by. So we'll resolve them in order. I've got ruins first, and it's going to tell me next turn roll a d6 to see what's found. And it also clarifies that no one but the discoverer may investigate. The instinct is always, well, let's have somebody else look. No, it's you make the choice with your first warrior if you're going to stay and stick it out or not. All right, so this is one. On any of these tables, it's always a high number is always better. So 5 is probably going to be pretty decent. And we're going to go down. 3 vials are wrapped in heavy burlap. They contain Kissavona, 1 gold piece each. Drink a vial and mark Kiss as a skill to prevent all poisons for the adventure. Opponent's poison modifiers don't apply to damage feats or injury outcomes. This protection also extends to harm and Thorn of Ruin spells. Effects wear off in the aftermath. That's been updated in the Living Rule Book. It works a little differently. Not important. But you can do it as needed. You don't have to do it up front anymore. So that's much better. All right, so there is, I do want to point this out, you've only got 6 gear slots. 7 and 8 are for things like cloaks and footwear. So she is starting to get a lot of stuff. Kissavona are worth 1 each, and you can tab through these. I'm copying and pasting to speed up. All right, so she's only got 1 empty gear slot. All right, and then she is doing that was her free action for the turn. Looking at the genie bottle is going to be her other action for the turn. So the genie bottle has the same sort of thing. We're rolling a d6 slash on d6. And I got a 5 on that roll as well. The bottle contents are, I taste a strong but delicious coffee flavor and drain the bottle, granting the first strike skill for the adventure. Neat. All right, so she is fast. All right. And first strike is that little 1 there. And I forgot, you probably didn't see either of my die rolls. So I am now a first striker on number 1. That means when we start a new round like we're doing now, she can go before all others. Since there's no combat situations, it's not a big deal. But I do have a sprinter up at the top of the screen, striking last, and I've got range ender over here, striking last. So I'm going to put 2 chits out of the cup. And I'm going to go ahead and first strike with a number 5 here, just so we can do something. And she's kind of an addict for sprinting now, so she's going to sprint to this side of the marker. And she is the one with the Peeker's Monocle. Let me double check that. Yeah, number 5 has the Peeker's Monocle, the 2 Psyche, and the 2 Instinct. So, again, don't forget your modifiers. I see so many people after the game, including me, saying, "Oh, I should read my sheet. I've got all these things that I can do." All right, so I'm +6 to this. You know what fails. An 11 is pretty successful. We'll take that. All right, so she makes the discovery. I can blow that away. We're going to go back to draw the app and draw. Oh, jeez. I'm only getting fluffy bunnies here. All right, we'll make something bad come out before the end of the game. 1 shadow point for Huntress 5, so she is only 3 away from her thing. Purple Rose of Cassell. The long weeds here don't seem to be what swallowed the airship cargo, but the tiny purple flowers are Mauve Hypernicum. These flowers are quite rare outside of Alfar and highly prized by elves. They're so rare it might be worth abandoning the chase to pick some. So this is a weird one. Normally I would ignore this because Mauve Hypernicum has no value to wolves. And wolves have no ability to trade. So basically anything I find I'm going to have to use as a sacrifice to Mawu. But I'm already striking last because I sprinted over, so why not pick some Mauve Hypernicum next turn and get some benefit out of this. Sacrifice to Mawu will increase my shadow points on everybody, so why not do it? All right, so that was the interrupt. So I'm going to put, or the first striker. So I'm going to put the rest of the kits in the cup, and I'm going to go. All right, so I am up again. I can't do Windwalk on my stalker because she would be off the ground and not able to hide. So she is going to move up, and as long as there are no foes within 6 paces, she can reestablish hiding. So think of like a real world wolf, you know, how well they can hide in natural terrain. This is just, you know, a mutated timber wolf has that same ability. So it's pretty cool. And then my mage is up, and she can cast Becalm point blank range. So, oh, she's got Water Walk. What am I doing? She's got a charge of 3. She's going to try and cast Becalm on my leader. Well, this is going to be dangerous. This will be fun. So she's going to push twice because you're not allowed to pre-measure, but I think she was completely out of point-blank range to cast Becalm. So she's going to try pushing twice here. What could go wrong is what I always say. So I'm going to roll /R D6. Actually, let's just do them both to save time. If either of these are a 1, I fall on my face, and it... Yep, I fell on my face on the second one. Let's see if she can swim. She does not have swim. So she would be washed away by the current, which would be pretty stupid. I'm going to activate my leader. And he has a, let's talk about it on the sheet. He's got 2 skills. He's got mind speech, which allows him to think telepathically, and command allows him to share a reroll with the Moon Dancer. And this is where it gets, you got to read the rules carefully, right? Now, he has that foreshadowing of death icon there. That means he can't reroll, but he can still use his command skill so that my Wolf can. Now, Roll20's got a glitch in it where it tends to lock in on a certain number. So I'm going to roll 12DF, and that's just going to roll a bunch of random dice, and that would have been a good roll. And then I'm going to re-roll my push, and I am successful. And I'm going to find out that Becalm is not going to work on my leader because my leader is a hair too far away. The other bad news for my Moon Dancer is the only chit left in the cup is the Discovery trigger. So she is going to get a random discovery. All right. Well, this one's interesting. Before I roll the before I award the shadow points, read this note. A discoverer with animosity or rancor must make a reaction check. Vile discoverers are attacked. All right, so reaction checks are basically, whoops, wrong warrior. My Moon Dancer is kind of creepy. She's got rancor. So, this is kind of bad. I'm going to have to roll a reaction check. A 1 through 3 is going to be bad for me. A 4 or 5 is going to mean the character is going to flee. And a 6 is the only good roll. And you'll note that I wasted my reroll. My choice, right? My leader will not be able to command me again if I blow this roll. And we might actually get to see something appear. Alright, D6. Yeah, worst roll possible. Okay. So, what is going to happen? There is a tiny Norn woman who, I'm just going to spoil the surprise here. The Nari, the WitchBorn centaurs, tortured her, and she died, and she became WitchBorn. And she is normally pretty sweet and pretty nice. But she sees this wolf and she's hungry, and so she's going to try and kill him. And so she's going to appear within 3 paces. Just trying to make it show up on screen well. This is going to be a better way to do it on screen because then I can collapse it like that. All right. So she's starting approximately 3 paces away. She's got a charge of 4. Rule of thumb is as long as your base is bigger than the water, she can find footing there to stand without a problem. So she's going to charge the Moon Dancer. The other thing I want to point out is this is 1 WitchBorn that's appearing. So we don't double it. We don't do 2. It's only when a random number appear, and hopefully I'll show you the distinction later. We'll get something else bad to deal with, but it's kind of sad that Lena is attacking me. She's the sweetie normally. All right. So she charges, and she's going to be marked with a chit of her own color. I got a purple one handy here, so that's going to be Lena. And she has a 4 strength, but she's also got this skill called Fighter. So first we're going to compare strength scores, and my Moon Dancer is only a 3, and I don't have a lot defensive. I'm in kind of bad shape there. So equal strength or less, you always get 1 dice. Stronger, you get a 2nd dice. Fighter, you get a 3rd dice. So she's going to roll /R 3d6. And if you're playing at home on a real map, you'd use those attack dice for this. And 3d6 is a critical hit, of course. All right, so how do I know that's a critical hit? Let's see. Sorry. It's a lot to show this on screen. All right, so a roll of a 6 is a critical hit. I take the best roll, which was a 6. A 5 is a shield hit. 4 is a parry hit. That would have hit as well, but critical hit does more damage. 2 to 3 is a miss, and a 1 is an oops. If you're playing with the actual attack dice, they're drawn differently. And those are explained in the living rulebook how to use those. All right, so Lena hits. Her damage with her boar spear is normally +4, but when she charges, like she just did, it's +6 to damage. And she is trying to beat my defense score of a 7. Almost anything is going to get through there. All right, so /R d6 +4 +2 for the charge +1 for the critical hit. All right. Yay. All right. She rolled a 1. That means she does not get to roll an injury on me, which is really good news. And then really bad news is I don't think I have anybody close to Lena. All right, so that is the end of the regular turn. And now we're into the last strike phase. So I've got my number 3 and my Rage Ender number 8. So let's see their stats. So number 3 has bolas. The problem with throwing bolas is throwing into melee is dangerous at best. And let's go. Sorry. Rage Ender number 8. Really darn good at melee for both of them. Well, really just Rage Ender's good at melee. All right. And of course, Rage Ender is so far away, not going to be a factor. Head that way, and I'm too far away to use bolas. I can't sprint because you can't sprint in the last strike phase because you're recovering from being tired. And I think Rage Ender will stick with the original plan and just go up and try and make that discovery. She's not going to be effective in saving. And I walk over and try and make the discovery. Is the one with the 3 psyche and instinct. All right, so I'm going to pull her off the map. /R d6 plus 3 for Psyche, plus 2 for Instinct. Let's see if I can get myself into some more trouble here. Yeah, 10's going to make it. So I am completing my mission of making some discoveries. And it's not going to be anything threatening once again. All right, but Rage Ender is going to level after this game. She's up to 15 shadow, so happy about that. Plain souvenir. Grass is deliberately trampled flat, not by airship debris. A broken pike lays discarded. By its unusual markings, I know it was Nari crafted. Nari are the WitchBorn centaurs of the plains. If some come out, I'll explain it a little bit more. The stone tip isn't useful except as a souvenir. There's also a sinew cord discarded just to my left. This could make an awe-inspiring necklace. Maybe they'd even start calling me Nari Slayer. Quickly decide whether to keep it. Likely Nari are still in the area, and I might need to run. All right, so I am going to pick it up, and so that's going to cause me to roll a d6. And of course, I get the worst result and no rerolls. So the discoverer is cut by the necklace and marked with a staggered condition marker. The worthless necklace is tossed away. All right. So it could have been much worse. So Rage Ender is a little bit hurt. And that's going to end the round. So we're going to do some interesting things here. D6. Oops, sorry. Going to reset. And with the reset, I've got a last striking Rage Ender. I've got a last striking number 5, and that's important because she's the first striker for the game. So I'm only going to have 4 chits in the cup, and I really want to go with my mage, who I'm realizing is not even on screen. I really want to go with my mage. Or have somebody come over and just try and do some damage with to Lena. But unfortunately, Lena has this skill called Opportunist. And she can say, I want to go right away. This is bad for me. All right, so Lena's going to activate first. And she's got a skill called Quickness, which gives her 2 attacks with her boar spear instead of the normal 1. All right. Now, she's not charging this time, so her damage is going to be reduced, but I don't have great defense anyway. If you remember right, Lena is stronger and a fighter, so she's going to roll 3d6. And here's her first attack. All right. We established last time that a 4 is a parry result, and I do not have the parry skill or enshroud to block that, so she hit. Here's where her damage modifier comes in. She's using the smaller one this time, /R d6 plus 4, and this is my only hope is that she rolls poorly here. 7. Thank God she rolled poorly. All right, so if we remember right, I have a defense of 7 on my Moon Dancer, and so she tied. As long as she doesn't beat it, I survived the first one. So the second one is, you can literally, if you have arrows on your keyboard, I can arrow up, and I don't have to type in that 3d6 anymore. I can just arrow up and reuse that one. And rolling the dice. It's going really slow for some reason. And critical hit. That's not what we wanted. All right. So, damage is going to be /R D6 plus 4. We're using the smaller one. Plus 1 for the crit this time, though. So she's got a much better chance of beating that 7. And my internet connection must have slowed down. 10's going to do a number on me. The next thing that is very scary is Lena does +2 to injury. All right. So /R, I could potentially have a skill called Deflect, which would negate that modifier, but I'm first level. I don't have that. All right. So +2. I'm afraid to even roll this. All right. Oh, worst roll possible. Even with the +2, I'm merely staggered, which is great news. I am striking last with my other 2 last strikers, but Lena is kind of neutralized from that standpoint. Not going to be taking out my Moon Dancer. And, oh gosh. This is where it gets confusing with the Discovery Trigger. So the Discovery Trigger goes to the last warrior who took a turn. Lena is not a warrior. She's a Plains Denizen. And WitchBorn are not warriors, so it cannot go to her. So it goes to the last warrior, who was Rage Ender way over here. All right. So Rage Ender is going to get another random discovery. And finally, something bad. All right. 2 shadow points for Rage Ender. So she's definitely leveling if she survives this adventure. All right, I'm going to keep her stats handy. This one's called Stakeout. A writhing orc is staked to the ground with wrists and ankles raw meat where the cords dug in. Insects swarm the seeping wounds. His eyes are swollen shut and his lips are thick and dry. As he dies, he grunts an explanation. Nari. The orc convulses. And again, the Nari are the Witchborn centaurs of the plains. The orc convulses. It is an orc no longer. Its binding cords snap. A Witchborn spirit has claimed the body, a body seeking replenishment from your blood. All right. It's going to tell me a Witchborn orc starts in reach of my discover and attacks with surprise. +2 attack dice, +2 damage. Mark it with a chit of its own color. And it tells me it's going, if it wounds me, it's going to feast unless distracted. All right. If I was over 450 in value, which I'm not, I'm a fairly new war clan. I'm 173 currently. I'm a fairly new war clan, so I will not face the tougher set of stats. I'll face these somewhat easier set of stats. And again, only one is appearing, and he's going to appear right next to me. So let's find Stakeout. At least he's smaller than I am. All right. So he rises to his feet and surprise attacks. That means we're going to get 1 attack. First, we compare strength. Well, strength of 5 versus Rage Ender's 3. He's definitely got me outmatched. All right. And this is old stats for a Scourge, thank God. I am going to note that he does disarm me on a critical hit, and instead of the 3 attacks, gets 1 surprise attack. So, always get 1 attack dice. Stronger, you get a second. Surprise, you get 2 more. So, it's going to be 4d6 And anything 4 or better is going to get Rage Ender. 5 is a shield hit, and she does not have the shield skill to do that. She did Howl earlier. I used it foolishly, so I'll take that off. And she is hit, and she's already staggered, so that is an important point as well. All right. So the damage modifier for a fist from this WitchBorn Scourge is +6. Rage Ender's got decent defense, but it's not going to stand up to this, more than likely. All right, so +6 normally. Surprise adds +2. So we're at +8 already. And a 6 means that you get through any defense whatsoever. It doesn't really matter. Rage Ender did have a 9. So even if you added it up, 14 was getting through. And then we're going to look at injury modifiers. And this guy does +1 to injury. So I'm in a bit of trouble here. /R D6. Again, Rage Ender does not have deflect. Whew. All right, so 3 is only staggered, but since Rage Ender is already staggered, she goes up to stunned. She is not going to be able to save herself. Whoops, sorry. She's not going to be able to save herself this round. All she's going to be able to do is heal. So that is going to probably affect some of the things that I'm going to do this round. So the only thing left in the cup is 3 chits for me. So I've got to think about this. All right. My leader is very fast, but swimming is a slow process. So he's probably going to be the slowest one in trying to save Rage Ender. So I am going to pray to God that I'm going to be in time with number 3, who, remember, has... she has wind walk on her, so she can walk on water. I'm going to show you another rule. I'm going to get mauled if I don't make some of these discoveries fast. So I'm going to sprint on water, and while I do it, I'm also going to run by this discovery marker and maybe get lucky and make that discovery, because I'm going to be busy fighting for the next couple rounds. All right, so it's my turn. I'm striking last. I'm going to be tired, and my number 3 is a Psyche 2 Huntress, fairly smart, Instinct, an extra +2 modifier, and so I am desperately trying to make this discovery just so it's one less I have to make later. And 7, I make it exactly. I hope this doesn't blow up in my face, but we will find out here. Huh. Well, this one's going to be a weird one. This one's going to blow up in my face. All right. 2 shadow points. Oh, good. It's not going to blow up in my face. So, she's got 2 more shadow points. This one's called Nearly Scrambled. I stumble. From my belly, I see the culprit. An enormous red speckled and leathery egg tripped me. It It's as large as my head. For size alone, the egg has to be worth 3 gold pieces, whatever kind it is. All right. So normally I would knock down the Discoverer and roll a damage feat. She fell into water, and thankfully she can swim. I just really lucked out there. All right. Because I would have fallen from my feet and been washed away by the current, but instead I am swimming. There is an egg laying there, so why don't I put a discovery marker there. That's what tripped me. And I'm going to tint it blue. Her next turn, I can decide whether I want to pick that up. I probably will. And because it's worth money. It just depends how bad a shape Rage Ender is in. And that reminds me, I gotta see if Rage Ender has a Jennifer berry to eat. That would be another thing to show you. She does not. All right. So, the other thing I wanted to show you is in the GM notes it says, Mom's Home. If the Discoverer's Workland value is 300 or more, the mother returns. And so stats are built in there. This will keep you honest if you're this is the easiest adventure. If you're playing too high of Workland value on the map, it will keep you honest. All right. So number 3 is swimming there. No longer using that. All right. I want to see what my stalker has as far as all she's got is a claw attack, so I'm not going to rely on her assist here, but I am going to make sure that that's visible to everybody. Yes. And remember, my leader has a huge speed, which gives him a charge of 5. So he's going to get his ass out of the water, and he's bigger than this spot of water, so he can stand on it. And he can charge Lena. All right. So... and he is charging with he only gets 1 attack on a charge. So it'd either be the spike club or the bite. The spike club adds +1 to injury, so that would be the smarter choice. We compare strengths. He's a 4. I do not get credit for an assist from the Moon Dancer because the Moon Dancer has a staggered condition marker. So, unfortunately, Lena is also a 4. So I'm only getting 1 dice attack. This is not going to be good, and I do not get to reroll. My damage is going to be pretty good if I can land this somehow, miraculously. Just a clean miss. Okay, could have been worse. And then my stalker, let's go to her. She has a 3 strength, which isn't great, but she has that stalk skill, which means that she can surprise attack Lena, and she's got a charge of 3. So I'm within 3. Might edit some of this in the final version so it's faster. All right, so I'm going 3, and that's going to reveal me. So I'm no longer hiding. I've got a 3 strength, but I get +1 dice from my leader, so I'm up to a 4. My leader is assisting me, so I'm equal strength, but the surprise attack gives me 2 bonus dice. So I'm going to get to roll 3 instead of 1, which is the really good news. They all fail. All right. I am going to command that. So my leader has already taken a turn. That means he's going to last strike next turn. So I am putting all my eggs into this basket of a roll. So I'm going to roll some fudge dice here. That would have been a very mediocre roll. And I'm going to re-roll my 3d6 and hope that roll 20 isn't stuck on 3s. Hey, there's the crit. All right. My damage is pretty horrible. I'm doing the bite, which is 3. All right. So it's going to be /R d6 plus 3. The critical hit's going to add +1, and the surprise attack's going to add +2. So it's a nut +6. That gives me a chance against Lena's defense of 7. That gives me a decent chance, yeah. And when you roll a 6, you get through anything. And I don't have any injury modifiers, but I did want to point out Lena has deflect, so no injury modifier would have applied to her. All right, and she is staggered. So the good news is she can't opportunist next turn with that staggered. All right, and then we're going to go to the last strike phase, and I've got 3 guys up. And I guess they're the only ones in the cup, so it doesn't really matter. Rage Ender. All you can do when you're stunned is heal. 2 staggered. Rage Ender's in a lot of trouble because Urek's going to get 3 attacks next turn. My mage is up. And she has nothing she can do, really. She can attack if she wants, or she can escape. Her damage is terrible with her claw. Her damage is poor with her bolas. She's going to go over and do her best to help Rage Ender. And she's got Windwalk, so she can move her 6 on water. And it's going to be kind of a futile thing, I believe. And because number 5 way up at the top, not even sure that number 5's on screen, because number 5 is striking last, she is going to just move her normal 7. She can't sprint. And we're going to set up next round. All right, so next round, we're going to reset. And Lena has a skill called Relentless. Relentless, kind of hidden by that little mark there. I can't roll over it, but you can see it in there. That means she doesn't strike last. Bummer. But she also can't use her opportunist. So she is fine. And I've got number 3, Rage Ender, and number 1, all striking last. So I'm going to put those guys off to the side. Urek, I never gave him a chit color. He's going to be blue. So Urek can go in the cup. Lena can go in the cup because she's relentless. I cannot go in the cup at all because I've done 3 in a row. And the discovery trigger could affect, theoretically, my guy who went last, who was number 5. So that can go in the cup. I'm in a bit of danger. I've got one last discovery to make up at the top. And if it is not the airship cargo, then we're going to add one more to the map, and that's guaranteed to be the airship cargo. But I can't imagine that I am going to survive both these WitchBorn, and the discovery triggers so far have been fairly kind, so we haven't gotten anything too bad. And, ooh, I did not expect that. All right. Lena's going to be up first, so let's zoom in on that. Let's make sure it's on the screen. All right. So this is the way I think about WitchBorn. Somebody once told me, they're supposed to be dumb, right? It's like, no. They're the opposite. They're vampires on crack. So Lena was fairly dumb in life. As a WitchBorn, she's a whopping 2 psyche. But you can see all of her other ability scores are pretty advanced. You get +1 to each score when you go up. But she's smart enough to realize that the armored guy over here who's really strong is probably not the one to target. It's probably this one. And because my Packmaster is striking last, he won't be able to assist my Stalker. So, lost my roster. There it is. Number 10 Stalker has a impressive strength of 3 and a 5 defense. So, it's definitely the one to attack. So, Lena is stronger, and she's a fighter, so she's going to get 3 dice on me. All right. Almost made it through that. She's got parry will hit because I do not have the parry skill to block that. And remember, Lena's only adding +4 to the damage roll here. So slash our d6 +4. And she has to roll a 6 or higher. So, hey, she got it. All right. And we also remember that Lena is very tough. The Boar Spear normally adds +1 to injury, and she's got a skill called Thrash that adds another +1. So +2 to injury. This could be my end right here. D6 +2. 7. Any 6 or higher is a wound. So let's... oh, man, this is bad news. Let's go check out the wound deck. I'm going to click that. This is our discovery deck. This is our wound deck. This is our oops deck. This is start new game. We're going to use the wounds. Most common is a knockout. That's what I'm kind of praying for. And of course, it's a war wound. My leg splinters with an audible crack. Afterward, my high-pitched wail is often compared to a jungle cat. I can heal this now, or my savage leg permanently lowers my speed -2. Comrades in very long range roll route feats. Well, lots of things are going to happen here. First, please, 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 please get in the habit of writing down your wounds. You might have ways to heal it. Actually, I'm just going to write War Wound WW -2 speed. Let me double check that. Yeah, -2 speed. Write it down. You might have a way to heal it after the game, but that healer has to survive the game, right? So, write it in your skills. Get in the habit. It will really tick you off when you see that at the end of the game, so you're going to learn to heal that. We're going to activate all the feasters within 12 paces. All right. So in person, you can measure with a combat ruler. If you're playing online, there's this cool little thing that lets you throw up an aura. And we'll just throw that up. And we can see that the other WitchBorn is not within 12 paces. Did I do the right? That's 12 seems small. Yep, I got it right. So Uric, the WitchBorn Scourge, is not within 12 paces, so does not activate. However, I'm going to have to roll route feats for everyone within 20 paces, which is very long range, which you can see gets everybody even rage under. All right, so that's going to require a lot of route feats. So if you're playing at home, you usually roll them one at a time, and you just go across your roster and you check your route number. I'll show you that in a second. When you're online, there's a little advantage. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people who are making, 5 warriors who are making route feats. So I'm going to roll type /R 5d6, and I'm just going to go in numerical order and see what the route feats are. All right, so decent rolls there. 3, 5, 5, 4, 4. All right. Well, we know the 4 is for my Moon Dancer, and she only needs a 1. And you can see that 3 Psyche helps, the 1 level helps, and the 2 Instinct helps. All that adds up to 6, and we subtract that number. 7 minus 6 means my route number is a 1. That's how it's figured. It does it automatically in the PDF, so that's kind of nice. All right, so we know my Moon Dancer is not scared. Let's go back to my Packmaster. He's not as smart, so you can see his number's a little worse, but a 3 is safe, and all you have to do is match. Number 3, roll a 5. She's in great shape. Number 5 is a 5 and also in great shape. And my best route number is Rage Under. I kind of wanted her to fail because she might route off when she's hit by Uric over there. But not going to happen. She's fine. So nobody in my clan is scared. And the bad news is Lena is just trying to tear me open and slurp my entrails. She doesn't know what's going on and why she's doing it, but I am knocked down, I am unconscious, and if Lena gets 6 more turns, she can consume me completely, and I will no longer be on the team. So I've got to do something about that pretty desperately. And meanwhile, all the chits are back in the cup now. And I did want to point out, first strike, it's too late to first strike. We've already drawn the first chit, and the reason why I couldn't first strike was because I had 3 wolves act in a row. I am up. So here's where I wish Rage Under had a skill called Die Hard and wouldn't have to strike last. So I've got to figure out, how can I save Rage Under's life? There's not a really good way for me to do it. Oh, the other thing I forgot is number 10 loses her chit. She's no longer in the game. So I can have my mage go over there, and about the only thing I'm going to be able to do is maybe cast Becalm on her. Who cares? It's not going to do anything. I could try and walk over and lend an assist. to Rage Ender. I also know that my Packmaster is only equal strength to Lena, so he's going to be really tied up. I think I'm going to take my lumps with Rage Ender, and I am going to come back over, walking on the water, and lend an assist to my Packmaster so that he's got a chance to knock Lena off. All right. And here's the moment that I was dreading. Yurik was up. And if I remember right, Yurik's got the old stats. And if, this also brings up a good point. With the Living Rulebook, not all the apps are updated for the Living Rulebook. And so normally a Scourge would have completely different stats than what we're seeing here. You wouldn't have Disarm. You would have a skill called Grapple. There's probably a few other things that would be different. Oh, the number of attacks from Brawler would be less. But just play stats as written. Makes it simple. It also makes the NPCs a little unique if there's something they can do that nobody else can. So eventually I'll get around to updating it. It's like 8th on my list. All right, so I'm going to remember the important things. Yurik is going to be stronger. It's going to get 3 attacks with 6 damage, 1 injury. He disarms on a critical hit, and of course he's a feaster. Alright, so it's not looking good for me. Alright, so because Yurik is stronger than Rage Ender, Rage Ender's is 3, remember? I'm going to roll 2d6. And this is the first attack. It's a crit. So I'm disarmed. So I'm going to get a disarmed condition marker. And let me zoom in on that a little bit more, so that you can, if you're watching, you can see. And Rage Ender basically dropped her boar spear. I don't want to lose that. It's really, really handy to have. It's because they don't have access to boar spears. So I'm going to, even if I get wounded, I'm going to have somebody come pick it up. I do not want to lose it. All right, so damage, if you remember, was +6. So d6 +6, +1 for the critical hit. And we're trying, Rage Ender's normally got a pretty decent defense. She's got a 9. But it probably won't hold up to these modifiers unless I get lucky. 10. Got her exactly. And +1 to the injury roll. So this is bad news. A 5 or a 6 will wound me. It's a 3. All right, so I'm already staggered. So now I go up to stunned. And I guess the good news for Yurik on the second attack is instead of 2 dice, because being stronger, get a bonus dice because I'm stunned. There's just nothing I can do to react here. And crit. Can only be disarmed once, so I got that going for me. And we can arrow up and get that damage is d6 +6 +1. Oh, and because I'm stunned, Yurik gets an extra +5. I have 1 chance of this not taking me out. And it's the opposite. Rolls a 6. All right, so Rage Ender has their rage ended. All right. So I'm going to draw the wound. And we'll go back over here. And man, I am just getting beat up here. Maimed. My face is pummeled so badly it could turn Lady Medusa to stone. Heal this now or get the oaf trait. I'm not already an oaf. Oaf is something I really don't want, so I'm going to write in Oaf in bold. That's key that I leveled up this game. I'll probably be able to take Healer as my skill and cure myself. Healer's one that I updated, so we'll talk about it when the game's over here. Okay, so I am now an Oaf, which really, really stinks. We already know that Yurik's going to eat me, so we don't have to worry about feasters. We just have to worry about route feats. So I'm going to throw up that 8 pace radius. And whoops, yeah. So it only gets my Huntress number 3. She's got to make a route feat. I am down 2 warriors now. So there is no negative modifier, but I'm getting close to that. So I'm going to roll a d6 for my route feat on number 3. And she luckily rolled a 5. So she's going to be okay. She needed a 2. All right, so she's not scared. She expected it. All right, I'm going to leave the disarmed condition on there because that's very important to retrieve that money. I am unconscious, knocked down, and Yurik's going to spend 6 rounds eating me. Oh, this is not going well. All right. And I've got to take, out of the last strike pile, I'm going to take Rage Ender's Chit out of the mess. And Discovery Trigger goes to my mage. All right. So this could be really bad. This could be a game ender. Maybe not. 2 shadow points. All right. So 2 shadow points. Ooh, she really needed it. She's only up to 11 here. And, you know, first level mage is great, you know, but second level mage is even better. All right, so thunder on the plain. Distant thunder rumbles. Clouds of dust and ash choke the sky. It's not a storm, it's a stampede. Wild horses hurtle toward me, spittle flecking their lips, terror in their eyes. Far in the distance, you hear the cause. Shrill Nari war cries. All right, so Nari are those WitchBorn centaurs. Tells me I'm going to roll d6 for a staging area. And then I'm going to roll 2d6 and move the Thunder on the Plains template 10 paces in that direction. And if I were really powerful, there would be some Nari chasing the herd, and their stats are down there. Luckily, we don't have to deal with them. All right, so let's zoom out so we can get pretty much the whole board in perspective. All right, so first I'm going to roll a d6 to see where they start. And, of course, a 5. Well, that might cause some problems. All right. Thunder on the Plain. See how big that thing is. And, well, you can't see it. Now it's on screen. That's how big it is. And I'm going to zoom in a bit so I can pretty much center it. And then it told me I'm going to roll 2d6 for direction. 11. Thank goodness. All right. So 11. It's going to go 11, or it's going to go 10 in the 11 direction, if that makes sense. So it's going to veer off. So they're going to go there. And this can get marked by a chit as well. And I'm going to make them yellow, and they've already gone. But they're going to continue to potentially harass us, now that they're going the absolute wrong way, it's going to be pretty hard for them to cause problems, but not impossible. All right. Then my last regular is up, and that is my number 5. All right. I'm going to hope that Lena is under control down there, and I'm going to go send some help against Uric. And remember, I've got 6 rounds to try and save Rage Under, so I'm not in full panic mode. I'm just going to sprint and get close this time. Oh, this one cannot walk on water. So I'm going to back up and stop short of the water. All right. And so I'm trying to get her as close as I can so that I can save my guy. The bad news is that was 1 in a row for me, and I've got 2 last strikers, and so that's going to be 3 in a row again, so I'm not going to be able to go right away next round. That's why I wasn't worried about sprinting with my first striker. All right, I'm going to go back on land, and I'm going to use a free action to pick up that egg. That seems like a selfish turn, but if either of my guys die here, or I need to buy more healing, that's going to come in handy. So that is number 3. She's got a wyvern egg, and that's worth 3 gold pieces. And the thing about when you sell treasure like that in the game is the wyvern egg is like a $3 bill. You don't get change. So I'm going to have to buy something $3 or more, which is pretty easy to do. And then my last attack is with my leader. All right. So he's got a 4 strength, which is equal to Lena, but I brought this assist over so that I would be stronger and rolling 2 dice. So I've got some choices here. I'm really fast. I could take 2 attacks with the spiked club. Does a little more damage, and we know Lena has deflect. Do I want the 3 attacks from clawing that does less damage to stop Lena from eating, or do I want to keep her occupied if I miss? I probably want to keep her occupied because +4 to damage isn't great. The good news is I've got cold fire, so it takes me up to +6. All right, so I'm going to do the 2 attacks with the spiked club, and I'm stronger, which means I get 2d6. And I'm pretty sure Lena doesn't have parry, but let's double check. She's definitely got the shield. No parry. So I'm going to roll damage on her. /R, d6 +4 +2 from the cold fire. And here we go. Well, I hit her, I damaged her, and I know that I don't get to add my +1 to injury, so just a straight d6. I stunned her. Let's make sure she's not stout. Got deflect, no stout. All right, so she's stunned. So I'm pretty delighted about that. But more importantly, number 10 can be removed from the battle map safely because Lena is totally distracted from eating me. And so now I am going to try and finish her off. All right, so I would normally get 2 dice for being stronger. I get a 3rd one because she's stunned. All right, I just barely got her with the parry. All right, and my damage is going to be better this time. D6 +4 +2 from the cold fire +5 because she's stunned. So pretty much anything but is going to get her. 16 is good. All right. So this is going to let's do the wound first, and then I'm going to talk to you about all the weird implications here. Knockout. Yeah, sure. Everybody else gets maims and war wounds. I get a knockout. Knockout's worth less points. All right. So, we don't have to read the whole description. This is more for players. It's not going to trigger any route feats. It's not going to trigger any feasters, because feasters do not eat other WitchBorn. But here's the weird implications. I wounded a WitchBorn. I am using cold fire on my leader, which burns up the corpse. Lena is a recurring character that appears in Enter Perdition, The Pit, and Burning Sky Redux. So I have to make a note that Lena no longer exists in my campaign. So, yeah, very rare thing that happened there, but it does happen. And we got rid of one of the WitchBorns, so that is the good news. It's kind of a bad thing that she's gone, but the Wolves aren't going to be often playing those adventures, so that is what it is. All right, so I went with my last two guys. That made it 3 in a row, and we're going to reset. All right, so Lena is no longer in the game. Hurt shit comes out of the mix. So that's going to leave Uric, who's going to feast, the Stampede, and the Discovery Trigger are the only 3 things that can happen here. And I've got one last striker on my number 5. All right, and it is Uric first. So this is no biggie. Normally you would put a little... Well, let's do it first. All right, so Uric goes. The Rage Ender, normally you would have a dice if you're playing on tabletop, and you would turn it from a 6 to a 5. So Uric chomps, that's his turn, that's his entire turn. You can see that's why I was not really sweating it. It's 5, I've got 5 more chances to get him. I just hope nothing bad comes out from the Discovery Trigger, right? All right, so I am up. So I am going to, I don't know, look at your icon. She's got the water walk. She doesn't need to leap. So she's going to go her full 7 and still be standing a bit on water, but she's going to pick up that boar spear. All right, so that is number 3, and we're going to put the boar spear there. She does 3.5 damage plus 1 to injury, and she is, it's worth 2. And the boar spear on Rage Ender, I'll probably give it back to her after the game, but just for accuracy. All right. All right, and it's Thunder on the Plain, and I'm going to roll 2d6 to see where the horses go. And there's more complex rules in there. They can't go off the bottom edge of the map, so if I rolled an 11 here again, they would just skirt the edge. But this time I rolled a 6. So I don't think you're going to see it today, but these guys can wreak absolute havoc. It must have been deterred by my burrows there. They didn't want to break a leg. Oh my gosh. All right. I guess I have so few chits in the cup that the discovery trigger came out. And it's going to go to my number 3 there. So now would be a good time for a fluffy bunny to appear. Flotsam, 1 shadow point. It tells me to redraw if I'm more than 12 paces from the water. Since I'm standing on it, I don't think I am. All right, so Flotsam. Yeah, that's 1 shadow point, so she's on her way to 2nd level as well. I might need multiple healers the way it's looking. And a black wooden box bobs in the river, snagged by weeds on the shore nearest me. Continually dips beneath the waves, but rights itself and pops to the surface. The box must be waterproof. It could also be the airship cargo, so might be worth fishing out. I have until the adventure ends to check that out, so I'm going to put that there since it could potentially be the airship cargo. It's just a box bobbing there, and the only one who can know about it is number 3, so it's her decision to make to check it out or not check it out. And then we know that I'm going to have 2 chits, regular. All right. Definitely going to need my Packmaster over there. So it feels like a waste of a turn, but I am going to cast Windwalk on my leader. And remember, he's got a huge charge and a 9 speed. So I think he's going to just go the 9 and not sprint. Because he'll make it to Uric next turn pretty easily. And then one last striker. Oh, I did something. That's going to be 3 in a row again. Darn it. I did one thing on purpose. It wasn't by accident here. I'm going to throw up an aura here. I am not within reach of Uric, right? That yellow aura nowhere near him. That means that I can shoot Uric if I want with any of my warriors. And so I don't even know if number 5 has any missile weapons. She's got a rock she can throw. So she's more of a melee person. So she's going to work on getting in position for next turn. All right. So get rid of that last strike condition. Red X. And she's got a skill called Leap where she can go up to 7 paces. So she's going to leap over to this land. Go a little farther so she's not touching water. And next turn she'll be able to leap over maybe here and attack Uric if she wants. I'm hoping number 3 has some missile weapons. Let's see. Number 3. Bolas, they suck, but they do knock down the victim on a crit, so I'll probably lead with that. All right, so as far as what goes into the cup, we're going to reset. And for once, for better or worse, I don't have any discovery or any condition markers. So Uric goes in the cup, the Stampede goes in the cup, and the discovery trigger goes in the cup. And I can't first strike because I just did 3 in a row. All right, it's going to be Uric. All right, I'm not sweating yet, but I've got to try and hit Uric this round. I mean, the good news is he's tied up, right? He's busy eating my guy. The bad news is he's eating my guy. So 4 chits in the cup. And I get to go first. So, number 3 is going to let the airship, or the potential airship cargo, sit for a bit and bob in the water, in the weeds. And she's going to attack with her bolas. So let's see what Urik's stats are first. All right. So Urik has a skill called Fearsome, so I got to take that into account. And he's got a whopping agility of 4. All right, that's not going to help me. All right, so first thing I have to do is I have to roll a Fearsome roll. It's a route feat. I need a 2 or better to succeed. And because it's Fearsome, I get a modifier to this roll, a positive modifier. So I'm rolling D6 plus 3, and I need a 2 or better to be brave enough to shoot Urik. All right, 8. Made it easy. All right, so I'm brave enough, but we found out that he's way more agile. He's a 4, I'm a 3. And I'm using bolas, which give me 2 attacks, but I only get 1 dice. The good news is that I'm at point blank range. So D6. And that's it, D6. All right, just a clear miss. I could use my leader's command to re-roll that, but I'm going to save it in case I roll an oops, you know. I'm not going to... D6, all right. Second shot. 3. Better, but probably not worth messing with. All right. I'm up again. I don't need to worry about line of sight and weather at this moment, and I've already got... All right, so leader's got a 5 charge. So if I'm within 5.5 of Urik, I can make it there without a push. So that's good news. All right, and I can fight partially on the water, which is kind of fun. Oh, before I do that, Urik is Fearsome. I'm not immune to that, so it's D6 plus 3. And I need a 2 or better. Got an 8 again. All right. So we're good. All right. So this is where I'm a little bummed. Urik has a strength of 5. All right. I knew that as a GM, but I'm, part of solo play is not reading ahead. So I underestimated. I usually a 4 strength is tougher than anybody. So what does that mean? That means that I am going to roll 1 dice because I'm weaker, and only a critical hit will succeed. And that was a whiff, and you only get 1 attack on a charge. So, but now I know, as a player, I know that I really needed that assist from number 5 to help me out. And meanwhile, our Stampede is going to go. /R 2d6 and 8. I gotta go straight ahead, 10. So only a very low roll would turn these guys. So more than likely the Stampede is not going to be anything at all this game, which I'm cool with. All right. And then I am up with number 5, and I am going to try and attack with a Spiked Club and Predator. And I am going to have to make a fearsome roll first. D6 plus 3. And a 6 beats my 2 that I needed. She's going to jump across with that leap skill. And 4 paces would get her right there, which would not be a safe landing zone. She'd land on her own teammate. So she's going to have to go an extra pace, and that's called the push. And I rolled D6. Anything but the lowest number is fine. All right, I made it. If I would have failed that, I would have plunged into the water. And do I have swim? I do not. I have tough hide instead. So I would be in trouble. All right. So the 3 strength with the assist from my leader, I'm still weaker. So I'm going to get 1 dice, but I have this skill called Predator, which is going to give me a bonus dice. So at least I get to roll 2 dice. I still need a 6, so, you know, small odds. That's, but it's doable. It's happened. Hey, got it. All right, there's the crit. All right, so my damage is not great. I'm using the Spiked Club. It's plus 3. The critical will make it plus 4. /R, D6, plus 3, plus 1 from the crit, and plus 2 from the cold fire. Remember, we did that way at the beginning of the game. And so that's going to give me a chance. I think, if I remember right, Yurik's got a pretty good defense. An 11. Let's see if that beats his defense score. Oh, I was wrong. He's got a weak defense unless you're facing the tough version. So 11 beats the 7. It would have only tied the 11. So that's kind of good. All right. So the good news is I hit him and I'm going to hurt him, which is going to distract him from feasting. So Rage Ender gets to leave the game alive, which was my number 1 priority. And now I'm going to roll an injury roll. And because I'm using that Spiked Club, it has plus 1 to injury. Let's see if Yurik has deflect. He does not. So I actually get to count this time. /R, D6, plus 1. Yeah, he's stunned. All right. So he's hurt pretty badly, and unfortunately, that's all the attacks I'm going to make this turn. Who's next? It's my mage. I really need a held chit, so this is where I put 1 aside. And I know that there's only 1 chit left in the cup, and my mage is going to get the discovery trigger, because even though she didn't take a turn, that counts as the last warrior to take a turn. She made the decision to take a passive action, which was to hold. It's important that I get the next turn before Yurik does. So I want to wound him desperately. And he has a skill called Tireless, which means that his chit goes in the cup next turn. It doesn't go in the last strike pile. All right. So anyway, finding out what happens to my Moon Dancer. Oh boy. Maybe 1 shadow point. A discoverer with animosity or rancor must make a reaction check. That went really well for me last time. I have rancor. So just to reiterate, 1 through 3 is bad news. 4 and 5 means this character runs away. 6 means this character is not intimidated by me and will try and talk to me. I kind of hope I make this roll, because it's kind of funny with how it plays out with wolves because they can't talk. Ha! I did it. All right. So, you can see there's a lot of dialogue here. Wolves can't speak. So, I have to make a psyche feat, which, if you remember, I am Psyche 3. So, D6 plus 3, I need a 7 or better, and I can understand what he's saying. I'm stuck on 6s now. So, if I couldn't understand, I would talk with that Charlie Brown voice and go, wah, 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 you know, all this dialogue. But now I get to read it aloud to the character. And although they're not understanding the words because they're a wolf, they're getting the gist. And I'm not a dead one, clarifies an orc fingering the hilt of a scimitar. Trust me or we can fight. But with those friends backing you up, you won't have much of a chance. He laughs. I'm going deeper into the wastelands. There's a big reward for a missing healer who cures dead ones. I want that gold. Join me, we can be rich. The orc's smile is gruesome but sincere. Join him and it'll even help you now. And my moon dancer is just like, okay. You know, yeah. So I get an NPC to help me out. All right, so this one is the Searcher, and it's right there, and he's got some stats, and actually I can dump Lena's stats because she's out of the game. Well, she's out forever. The Searcher, he's okay. He's a bruiser. So he's going to appear within reach of me. And we're going to mark him with a chit of my color. And because the discovery trigger came out in between, that means I've only had one turn in a row. So that's also good to note. And that ends the round. So things are going a little bit better. So we're going to reset and evaluate. Again, even though Yurik is stunned, his chit goes in the cup because he's tireless. And I can interrupt. I can first strike. Even though I'm only equal strength, I'm going to get 3 dice. No, I'm weaker. I'm going to get 3 dice. Finish off Yurik right away and free up my guys to do something. I think I'm going to do the risky thing. This makes 2 in a row. And let's zoom in on this. All right, so let's check our math here again. So number 5 is a 3 strength with an assist, makes her a 4. That's weaker. But she's got Predator, which gives her an extra dice, and Yurik is stunned, which gives her 3 dice to roll. If any one of them is a 6, then he's hit. And because I'm taking the risk, I'm going to use the claw attack, which does a little less damage. But I do get +5 because he's stunned. So I'm going to try and take the 2 attacks and finish them. And free up my guys to make that last discovery. All right, I hit him. So there's only one thing that's going to fail here, more than likely, because he's only a 7 defense. So /R, D6. So I'm normally +2 with a claw, which is not impressive. The critical is +1, and more impressive is the stunned is +5, and oh yeah, let's not forget the cold fire is +2. All right, so come on, baby. 12. That'll get him. All right. So wound deck. Knockout. All right. Everything in his armor slot is stolen if the foe is within reach. All right. So let's see. I don't think Yurik had any armor, but I get credit for a KO, and that was totally worth it because she's going to level up at the end of the game. And let's go see if Yurik had armor. I don't remember. I doubt it. It wouldn't fit even if it did. None. All right. Nothing to steal. But that is fantastic. Yurik is burned up, gone forever. And I'm going to take his chit out of the cup. That's 2 in a row for me, and this will make 3 in a row. So I am going to fish the box out of the water. And we'll go back to the, what was that one called? Flotsam. Go back to Flotsam, and it's going to tell me to roll a d6. /R d6. And that's going to be a middle-of-the-road result. I found a scroll with the Maelstrom spell worth 1 gold piece. Wow. Okay. I write it on my sheet just for the heck of it. Maelstrom. Wolves cannot read, so it's another sacrifice to Mawu. Oh, shoot. She was the one who was picking Mauve Hypernicum early, and she would have gotten to do this by now. So let me roll a d6 and see how many Mauve Hypernicum she got. 1. All right. So she has become the collector. When I go back and edit this together and re-watch it, I'm going to knock myself for forgetting that. All right. So we can get that out of the way. That's done. And I've had 3 in a row, so this one can't be me. And it is the Thunder on the Plain /R 2d6. Oh my God. I rolled a 3. There is some hope for the Stampede to actually become a factor. I ran out of screen room there. 9.8. I'll just nudge it a little farther. All right. This time I'm going to do it smarter. I'm going to grab that handle and turn it before. All right. So there is a chance that the horses will come back onto the map. Got to roll pretty low because we're running out of real estate up there, but that'll make that more fun. I'd really like to see him run over somebody just to show you how crazy it gets. And then I don't have, oh yeah, I've got held shit, so why don't I go with a hold, and I'm going to cast on myself. And Ewar is very grateful to get Coldfire. It pops up his damage with his scimitar from +6 to +8. So, totally worth it. And I kind of knew that my Moon Dancer was going to get that shit. So discovery trigger, and it's about time something horrible happens to me. All right, 1 shadow point. I am dodging it. If you can count 2 people wounded by WitchBorn dodging it. All right, so that's... she's up to 12. There's an outside chance she can still level this game. Prairie Dog. And my ankle twists. I lurch, falling onto my belly. I notice the vast plain is riddled with holes, as if some mad treasure hunter were let loose. Prairie Dog pokes its head up, followed by another. Suddenly it's clear who the madman is. All right, so I was right near the embankment there, so I must have fell onto land. So I'm going to knock myself down, and I'm going to possibly suffer damage. So /R D6 plus nothing. It needs to be higher than my defense of 7. You're like, well, you can't roll higher than a 7, not 1 dice. A 6 automatically would have succeeded. But I'm just knocked down and not hurt. And we're going to add the Prairie Dog in template. Where the freak is that? All right. And we're going to put it there. And we're going to put it underneath me. So I'm going to go to back. And no one can sprint or gallop in this area unless they have Windwalk on them. So guess what I'm going to be casting? And I am up since I'm the only one left in the cup. Well, Ewar just thinks he should head off for the last discovery. It's going to be a slow fall. Let's see. And let's see. Oh, let's see Ewar's stats. Yeah, he's a speed 5. I thought so. He's a poke. He's an orc. All right. And then the good news is my leader is a Windwalker, and I want to make this discovery, so I am going to sprint. And I'm going to just barely make it. I'm going to do it from the water side since I can walk on water. Normally, if you're swimming, your face is in the water. You're not making discoveries. All right. And he's not the brightest bulb. He's either a 1 or a 2, I'm assuming. He's a 1. All right, but he does have instinct. So it's D6 plus 1. Plus my instinct gives me 2 more. And I just came up short. I will make it automatically next round. And speaking of which, it is up. So I'm going to first strike. And the only reason I'm going to do it is because if the discovery trigger comes out, I want it on number 5 and not on my leader. So you can see I'm kind of metagaming here. But I'm just going to leap her across so that she can possibly back up my leader. And I don't want to be standing on a discovery marker, and I'll explain why possibly in a bit. All right, so that's 3 in a row. And so we're going to do the only 2 possible chits in the cup, and it is going to be the discovery trigger. So I figured it was 50-50. It was worth eating the bad discovery if it is something bad. It's okay. It's not too bad. All right, Creepy Crawler. So 1 shadow point, and that's for number 5. And let's get her on screen. She's going to level after the game. So my goal of playing solo to get some wolves leveling and earning new skills may or may not work out, because now I'm going to need some healers. But all right. This one's called Creepy Crawler. A hawk lands to strip leathery flesh from a corpse baking in the sun. Shockingly, the corpse's hand snares the hawk. The corpse crams the prize into its waiting mouth, jaw grinding as feathers and blood ooze over rotted lips. This corpse was cut in half before the quickening, leaving just an upper torso, but it's WitchBorn. Sensing fresh prey, the thing scrabbles towards me. So I'm going to knock down a WitchBorn 7 paces from the Discover and as far from all other creatures as possible. I'm going to move the WitchBorn towards the Discover and mark it with a chit. So it's going to move 4 paces, so it's going to end up 3 paces away from me. And I'm just going to throw up an aura real quick. And I'm going to find the creepy crawler. I'm going to make the creepy crawler red, mark him with a chit, and he is done. All right. And then my chits go back in the cup. And let's find out where the game is. All right. So if this is not the airship cargo up here, we're going to add one last chit to, or one last discovery marker to the map, and that's guaranteed to be it. My leader does not have to roll because I was parked on this marker and get it automatically. So let's see what it is. One more WitchBorn, just for the fun of it. All right, 2 shadow points. So the pilot, a man struggles, dragging one leg heavily behind him, moaning with each lurching effort. His clothing and skin are charred black except for a bright golden ankh dangling from his neck. Smoke rises from his crisp flesh. This was the pilot from the crashed airship. Its head swivels drunkenly, sensing my presence. Burnt lips peel back, revealing still pink gums and white teeth clenched in a sinister smile. All right, so we're going to add him automatically at Discovery Circle 26, and he's going after the closest target, which my mage just seems to be a magnet today. Take me to the pilot. All right, I think 26 is that one right there. Yep. All right, he has a skill called Shamble. We don't make him do it on the first turn. The good news for my mage is knocked down, which gives me cover. The other good news is line of sight is short range, and missiles are limited to 1 die. So Duncan, being a 3 psyche, is probably just going to move this turn. So he doesn't have to shamble this time. So he's got a speed of 7. Gosh. He has a... this is a good one to point out too. He's going to cross the narrow part of the river. And even though he can't swim, as long as it's narrower than his base, just barely, he can walk over it without penalty. He just can't sprint over it without penalty. He can't sprint at all. All right? So he's just moving up, and he's going to get a chit of his own color. All right, so that was not the airship cargo. We're going to add one last discovery marker to the map. And I'm going to want to hightail it and find this as fast as I can, because why risk any more danger if I can get this treasure off the map? And of course, it's the opposite end of the world. Not horrible. It's kind of in the middle. All right. And my Packmaster... Oh, I just cheated. I forgot to mark my Packmaster as a last striker. So rather than going back in time and redoing all that, we'll just count that as his turn. He took his last strike early. And so he'll be stuck there. Sorry about that. I do get involved from time to time and I make mistakes. So my mage is up. She's going to stand up, which costs her 3 movement, and she's got 3 left. She's going to go try and make that discovery, and it's not within 3, it's within 4. So she's going to do that push. Let's make sure, let's reread Prairie Dogging and make sure that she can still push. I don't want to make 2 bad screw-ups in a row. Move or charge normally, but sprinting and galloping within 12 paces of the template is impossible due to the prairie dog holes. Yep, nothing against pushing. All right. So /R D6. And I made the push. And I have a Psyche of 3. I'm pretty smart. D6 plus 3. And I've got Instinct, so another +2. 10 makes it. All right. So let's get that airship cargo template. And paste it there. We would go to the app next, and we would just hit draw until we find it. And it could be, wow, all the really bad ones were coming. Oh my gosh. Okay. The airship cargo was not to be found. There it is. All right, so 2 shadow points. The cargo is here, partially embedded in the dusty prairie soil. Work it loose and tell everyone to get the heck out of here. All right, so mage. I thought it was going to be impossible for her to level. She is definitely going to level this game, assuming she doesn't die. All right. She can't pick it up because she stood up, she walked over, she sniffed around and searched, and she did find it, but she took about as many actions as you could possibly take in that turn. All right. Next is Ewar, and he is going to head back 5 paces. And he is going to try and cut off the pilot there. All right, and then it is the horses. Kind of hoping for a low roll here, just to make it more exciting. Nope, straight ahead. So once again, unless it's a really low roll, well, that's 8. Unless it's a really low roll next time, they're going to be off the map. I got 2 more to go here. And let's mark them with an X. And what's good about this for me is when we zoom back out, I've got manageable threats. I just need to get this airship cargo off the map as fast as I can. And just stay away from the other threats. All right, so my number 3 is up. And she has this great thing because she's a windwalker. She is above the prairie dog holes. So she is going to sprint down here. And this time I am not going to screw up. I'm going to mark her as a last striker and not goof. I feel bad about that. The demonstrator screws up a basic rule, but all right, let's get a drink before we start. The next round won't be the final round. So I'm going to have to survive 1 or 2 more rounds without anything terrible happening. All right, so we're going to reset. I might as well get my money's worth out of this first strike. And just get away from Lincoln. Up here at the top. So number 5. Some people would go and fight the creepy crawler, but at this point, the discovery trigger is a big enough threat that I don't want to deal with it. Okay, I'm up 3 in a row, and actually I'm going to have to go back to the spot where we left off too. All right, so which is shorter? Like, I am in the middle of I'm like in the exact middle of the board. I don't think I have any good missile weapons with, nothing great with her. I got a dagger with Ewar. All right, this is what I'm going to do. Ewar is going to activate. And remember, because this water is not as wide as his base, he's going to come down and stand next to Duncan. He's going to take one for the team. He has to make a fearsome roll to do that. And, he's fearless. So, yeah, he just doesn't care. So he's going to come tie up Duncan. All right, and it can't be me. And it's not. All right, let's see if this is the end of Thunder on the Plain. /R2D6. 9 is, yeah, it's gone. All right. So Thunder on the Plain runs off. Was a little distraction, but caused us no harm. All right. I'm up 1 in a row. I'm going to pick up the airship cargo with number 11. If you're playing in person, you just put the template under your round base. Here online, we do this. And because I can lose it. All right. So picking it up takes part of my turn. All I've got left is a charge action. So I'm going to go 3 paces. And I'm going to go stand next to number 3. And you're going to see what we call a conga line in a little bit. And, this is bad news. I shouldn't have done that. There, should have. Okay, I wasn't thinking. Discovery trigger. All right. On my mage. So we're going to go all the way back to, let's put that where you can see it. All the way back, we had Prairie Doggin, Creepy Crawler, Take Me to the Pilot. Press Gang is the winner. This is bad news for me. All right. I am not vile, but I have to make a psyche feat to see what they're saying. All right. So /R D6 plus 3. I have no clue what they're saying. But I do get the 1 shadow point. Oh. All right, so I just hit 2nd level. Wah, 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 wah. Wah, 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 wah. He's explaining a lot of stuff. Wah, 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 wah. They get really angry, and since they're Norn, who love to hunt wolves, they are going to attack. Now, my War Clan value before the game was under 200. So normally I would get 2 militia soldiers. Instead, I'm going to double that because I'm playing solo. So I get 4. They're going to start on the battle map nearest nearest me and get 4 chits in the cup. So I'm going to put 4 blue ones in the cup before I forget. And I don't know how I'm going to figure out what the shortest battle map edge is. It's probably to the north now. All right, so that's 16.5. That's 20. That's more than 16. Yeah. That's close. Oh. Okay, that's under 16. Oh, I was going the longer way. Nice. All right, I kind of prefer them down below. I used to have a guy who played, and he could do like a video game announcer voice. He would always yell, "Press gang," in a really dramatic way whenever they took their turns. It was quite funny. Well, they're in no real hurry to go because they can't even see me. All right, and they're up. All right, they can't see me. They can't sprint in this area. They are Norn, so they can swim. So I think that's going to be their master plan. Norn are faster swimmers than average folk. They can 1 for 1. And York is off. All right. I guess technically they're up again. I guess technically they could go after Ewar as well. And he's going to get nearer the water so that he can take advantage of that next turn. And I am up. I'm going to hold because Lincoln's going to get a turn and he's going to crawl towards me, and then I can smack him. All right. But in the meantime, one of the press gang is up. Seems like a long way to go around those burrows. Let's have Buxton. He seems resigned to being stuck back here. He's going to charge forward and see if he's in short range of Ewar. He is. And he's going to get 1 attack dice max because of the weather. Oh no. He might have survival. Hold on. Hold on. He's got survival, so he doesn't care about the weather. And Ewar's agility is a 3, so it didn't matter. It was going to be a 1 dicer either way. So that's our D6. That's an oops. That's really bad. But he does have a skill called Marksman, which will allow him to re-roll that once. And he'll take the miss. And now it's the creepy crawler. So he's very frustrated. He's charging this way, or actually walking this way. He's dragging his body along. I can charge it. All right. So I'm going to come down this way and end up there. I want to be on this side of it to screen him from my comrades. I'm a 4 strength. We've already long established. I should figure out what weapon I'm using. I'm using the spiked club with cold fire on it. And the only thing I don't know is what's his strength. Yeah, I was afraid of that. All right. So we are equal strength, but he is knocked down, so I get a bonus dice. So I'm going to roll 2d6. And as you can imagine, a guy crawling on the ground does not have shield or parry, so 3 results, 4, 5, or 6 will get him. 2 6s. We'll take it. All right. So the spiked club normally does d6 plus 4, plus 2 for the cold fire, plus 1 for the first crit, plus 1 for the second crit. So, come on. Oh. Shoot. Before this roll, I cheated. Again. Seem to be good at that today. I had to make a fearsome roll on the because the creepy crawler is scary looking. And I made it. Alright, and then I'm going to roll /R d6 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1. Alright, that is definitely going to beat his defense, which was a 6, and he does not have deflect. Alright, so /R d6 plus 1. He's merely staggered. But the important thing is I'm keeping him away from the airship cargo. Alright, so that was the interrupt. Duncan, the pilot, is up. So he's got to make a shamble roll. D6. That's what that big snowflake on him is. And he rolled a 2. That means he's going to go in the last strike pile. He needed to roll a 3 or higher to succeed. And that means the last member of the press gang is up. And kind of irritated that he can't. And we're up to last strikers. I've got 0 in a row at this point. All right. And it is going to be Duncan the pilot. Are you Mr. Duncan? Right here. And let's look at his stats. Now, Shamble only applies in the regular phase. It doesn't apply in the strike last phase, so he's already penalized. He doesn't have a chance of being penalized again. Now, this is the scary part. He's a 4 strength, which I think is going to be equal. He's got 2 scimitar attacks followed by a dagger attack. Damage is 6/4, and he's got Fury. That's all I need to know. So let's look over here. Equal strength, so it's going to be 3 1-dice attacks. /R d6. So shield will hit our little friend here, the searcher. So damage from the first scimitar attack is +6, d6 +6, trying to beat an 8. You beat it pretty handily. All right, and then the injury roll is just a straight d6. So staggered Ewar on the first attack, but he's not scared, even though he's got this whole press gang coming towards him too. All right, second attack from the pilot is just 1 dicer, and it's an oops. Hey, nice. I don't think we've had an oops today, so that's built into the side panel. Yeah, melee, missile, and magic. That's obviously a melee attack. Snap. Normally weapons clash and ring in battle. Unfortunately, yours crunches like dry leaves. All right, his scimitar is gone. So we are going to put that symbol on him. And that makes Ewar's day a little bit better. And then we know it's got to be me for 1 in a row. So for my action, I can take the airship cargo from our friend here. All right. So I take the airship cargo, and then I can go up to my charge distance. That's why we call this the conga line. It's a way to kind of advance the treasure farther from trouble. I've got 4 movement left. So guess who I'm standing next to there? That person's going to do pretty much the same thing on their turn. All right. So we're going to reset. All right. So we've got 1 WitchBorn that's striking last. It's linking up there at the top. We got 1 WitchBorn that's normal. We've got 4 Of the press gang, they're going in the cup. I've got no last strikers except for Ewar. But I'm going to go with my first striker. So I've got a tough calculation to make here. I can definitely take the treasure, but that only leaves me 4 movement without pushing. And this is not the Water Walker. So I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to try and get the Windwalk on my number 5 first. All right. So it is one of the press gang is up first. And I think they're in no panic at this point. They are most interested in the wolves, killing the wolves. So just going to swim up. I'm going to go the unconventional route. And I'm going to remember this turn that I have the Howl trait. And I'm going to hope that all the press gang lose their route feats. So I'm going to roll 4d6. They're the only ones who have a chance to route. /R 4d6. The WitchBorn couldn't care less. They're all fearless. Ooh, I'm sure there's at least one fail in there. All right, 3, 2, 3, 1. What did they need? So we got to go back to the discoveries and the press gang. And they needed 3s only. All right, so from north to south, 3 makes it, 2 fails. So he is shaken and loses his turn. We're going to pull his chit out of the cup. 3 makes it, and 1 fails. Well, that is very exciting. It's helping Ewar best I can. Alright, so there's only 1 press gang left in the cup this turn. And number 1 gets to finish their turn. That was a free action. And he's smacking the creepy crawler. And remember, he's got 2 attacks with the spiked club because he's got a 9 speed. Just kind of waiting until I can afford to buy him a good weapon. Alright, so equal strength, but I am fighting a downed foe. So 2d6. Perry will get him. He's not swinging his little bony fist and blocking that one. All right, and my damage is only d6 plus 4 plus the 2 for cold fire. 10 will get him. Don't even have to look that up. And I am plus 1 to injury. So I'm hoping for the worst I could do is stun. I'm hoping for the wound. Yep, got him to stun, but I do have an attack left. And it's going to be a 3-dicer. /R 3d6. And I got him. And /R d6 plus 4 plus 2 plus 5. There's only one thing that can fail, right? And it's not that one thing. So I'm getting a wound. Always like wounds on my leader. Knockout! Dazed but vaguely aware someone's going through your stuff with the delicacy of a WitchBorn pawing for a jugular vein. I steal all his gear. I doubt he has any. So I'm going to mark the knockout. Packmaster started off at first level, if you remember, and I hadn't even recorded the Swift by accident. So he's on his way to 3rd level. You can only gain 1 level per game, but this is accomplishing my goal, is advancing my wolves. And oh yeah, I was going to look at the creepy crawler and see if he had any gear. Creepy crawler has a lot of gear. All right. My Packmaster, unfortunately, has a lot of gear too, so I want the water skin, and I'm required to take the silver pendant because we love jewelry. So, not a problem. I'm going to have to drop one thing because I won't want the unraveled worthless lasso. All right, I guess it's the dagger. Well, the dagger's more useful. I'm going to drop the Mauve Hypernicum. It's useless to me except as a sacrifice, so I'm going to take the water skin and I'm going to call that empty for this game. Empty. And I'm going to take the silver pendant. Worth 2. Alright. Nice. Free stuff. Alright, so Creepy Crawler is out of the game. Yay. I've cleared up a path there. Alright, my mage is up. I know this is stupid, but I'm going to do 2 pushes. Try and get over here and cast Windwalk. My last Windwalk. Alright, so 2 pushes is 2d6. Neither can be 1s. My internet connection is failing. Rolling the dice. Either 1s or 1s. Alright, now my first striker has Windwalk. So that will definitely help in getting off the map. I think I can't tell if north or east is closer. It looks like, or I'm sorry, west. It looks like west might be a hair closer. Alright, and you called it. My mage gets the discovery trigger. And it's called the birds. 1 shadow point more for my mage. Just raking in the points now. 13 shadow points total in 3 games. This will be our 4th, obviously. The birds. The plains are still. No breeze, no insects, no creatures stir. It's as if the prairie is waiting, and then they come. Birds. A black flock slashes across the horizon in a swollen mass. Hundreds of crows, pigeons, orioles, hawks, swallows, and blue jays plunge toward you. They roost and there's silence again. Alright, center the Discover on the birds template, and we're gonna put a chit for the birds into the cup. Alright. Blue Man Group. That is the last of the not scared here. Alright, so Coop is a better melee guy than missile guy. But why get in a fight that includes a WitchBorn? So he's going to come over and shoot with 1 dice against Ewar. Crit. That's a really good one. Let's go back to the press gang stats. I think they're plus 3-ish. Plus 3, so the crit makes him plus 4. He's got marksman, which he won't need to reroll that. So slash R D6 plus 3 plus 1. 8 on Ewar. I think bounces off. Yes, luckily. It's mostly me in the cup now. But let's see. Purple is the birds. All right, so I'll go back to the birds card and roll a d6. And slash R d6. 3. The birds target the original discoverer if the discoverer is no longer on the blah, 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 skimming up to 10 paces to do so. If they reach the discoverers, the birds encircle and follow the discoverer, never attacking but costing the discoverer double for every pace moved. Remove the chit for the birds from the turn cup. The template moves with the discoverer for the rest of the adventure. Great. So I'm gingerly walking through a bunch of birds for the rest of the game. I can deal with that. All right, Duncan is up. He's going to make the shamble roll. And he's going to fail it again. So he's striking last. That gives Ewar a chance of getting pulled first, which is good. All right, and meanwhile, I am taking the airship cargo. And I'm going to go my charge distance. I can win next round. So my number, so this is a strategy move. Number 3 is not really going to affect the game. So he's going to take a passive action called holding a chit. I'm going to put that aside so that I can activate in the first strike phase. And then interrupt with my leader and win the game. So let's play this out first. Kind of want Ewar to get drawn first, but he's not. All right. So Duncan the pilot is up. All he's got left is a dagger, which makes 3 attacks per turn at +4. All right. So first attack, we're equal strength. Crit. That's a bad start for Ewar. D6 +4 +1 from the crit. That's less than 8. Second attack. Parry will hit. This time it's only D6 +4. That'll get through anything. I don't believe the pilot had any plus to injury. Where is the pilot? And so no plus to injury. And so /R D6. So we know that Ewar is going to be stunned on the second one. And unfortunately, that third attack is going to get an extra dice because he is stunned. That's going to hit. This is going to be a lot of damage. /R D6 +4 +6. I'm sorry. +1 +5. I want to do all the math for you. +5 because he's stunned. +1 because of the crit. 14, and once you're stunned, the only thing that can happen is a wound. Maimed. He seems tired of wearing his guts on the inside. It's going to mess up digestion. He's going to shrink to wee size. And comrades within long range have rout feats. This could be bad. All right. So this is the bad thing of sending the NPC to defend you. All right. Luckily, the warrior with the treasure is outside. The bad news is number 3 here held a chit. If I fail this roll, then that held chit is lost. Be marked with a chit and lose my turn. So I am making 2 rout feats, so I'm going to do them at the same time, 2d6. And I am down 3 members of my clan now. So I'm going to get a -1 modifier to each of the rolls. So I got a 2 on the first one and a 3 on the second one. The 2 is probably going to fail. The 3 on the second one is fine, absolutely fine. And number 3, oh my gosh, 2 is what I needed. Well, that's a game changer. All right, and then Ewar doesn't get a turn because he was up next in the last strike. So that's another fortunate thing for me in that I won't have to worry about 3 turns in a row. All right, so Duncan is going to town, chowing on Ewar. The thing I'm going to miss is Duncan has a necklace that if it wouldn't have been so far out of my way to get, it removes rancor from wolves and makes them look friendly. So that's going to be my only disappointment. But again, if this was the first time I had played this, I wouldn't have known that, so I wouldn't have known that benefit that I'm missing out on. All right, the 2 last striking press gang members, and no other last strikers. And so I am going to first strike on my turn. I've never seen first strike help so much in a game. This has really been fortunate. All right, I'm going to walk up to my Packmaster. Oops, actually, I should measure it, even though I know that's less than my charge distance. Yeah, I got a charge of 4, and that's less than 3. So I'm going to walk up to my Packmaster, and then I'm going to hand my Packmaster the airship cargo. Right. And he's got it now. And I'm pretty confident he's going to be able to get it off the board with a 9 speed, but we shall see. It looks like it's within 9. All right. See who we draw. Ooh, we drew me, so I didn't even have to interrupt. So 9 would put me completely off the map. And I won. That was a lot closer and a lot bloodier than I expected. I'm glad I made the change about the discovery trigger. Like I said, basically when this was written, it was before War Mage Diary, and we didn't really know how powerful that could be when a mage could sit and buff somebody for hours on end. You saw how important it was for me to get that that wind walk on people and the cold fire and everything else. So we're to the aftermath. I'm just going to read this. My war clan wins. The mast of the fallen airship crackles like a campfire log before disintegrating to ash. Charred spine will become a burnt reminder of the strange little battle on the plain. Keep the cargo you won or use it for barter and asylum. This is supposed to be a real town with a market, a place to bed down, and strong drink. A long march awaits before you'll know. Plus, there's plenty of WitchBorn thirsty for blood out here. Time to move on. All right, so I have to see what that airship cargo is, and there is a very complex table here, but basically I'm going to the section that says up to 199 in value. So I'm going to get the worst treasures, basically. All right, so /R 2d6 on the lowest table is a 10. That's a good roll. I got myself a flying carpet. We kind of have a love-hate with flying carpets. I'm going to write that down on scrap paper. And the reason being is you can only fit 1 wolf on it. Maybe not even 1 wolf. I'll have to check the rules more carefully. All right, so back to it. That's the airship cargo. Then I'm going to roll 2d6 for loot, And the difficulty of this adventure is +0, so I don't get any bonus loot. Most of the other adventures get some kind of modifier on the end to encourage you to play more difficult adventures, right? So, that's great news. I got 8 gold pieces, which I can spend on equipment, and I have no idea what I'm going to buy at this point. That's where the Children of the Moon book comes in. There's tons of stuff in the back, and it's all stuff you want, and you can barely afford it, but I did get the Wyvern egg, so it's more like winning 11. And then the other good news is when you roll doubles, you get a second roll on the bounty table. And there's a little house rule that got put in the latest living rule book, I believe. And I roll 1d6, and if I can roll a 4, I move up to one better table. I did. All right. So just to be fair, I'm going to roll some fudge dice in between there because I can keep rolling this until I get /R d6. Whoops, I did /F. /R d6. 6. Okay. So I move up one table. So I move up to the 200 to 299 table. And in theory, most things on this table are a little better than the last table. 9. I got that little treasure that I wanted from the pilot. Ankh of Influence. It's worth 6 gold pieces. And Ankh is the Javannar symbol for life. The bars of the lower cross signify the power of feminine and masculine energy. The top of the loop represents the sun resting on the horizon to symbolize reincarnation and rebirth. The Ankh completely masks the negative trait of animosity or rancor, so ignore reaction checks from discoveries. Despite rancor, freely enter the pit in Asylum. Also, foes don't earn double shadow for wounding your rancorous warrior. Unfortunately, the Ankh does not mask vile warriors. So, I'm going to give that to my leader. And I'm going to put it in the outerwear slot. And he is going to have an Ankh of Influence. So I spelled that right, because it's not giving me an error. And I am going to take away his rancor. Actually, if there's a strike through, I might do a strike through. There is not. Okay. So I'm going to take away his rancor. I might forget when I'm playing. That's why I wanted to do the strike through. But that is a huge boon for my leader. And there are some shadow awards. So everybody who plays gets an adventure point. So this adventure point is how you can know how many games you've played, but it also does go towards your total, which is pretty cool. And then my leader gets 2 adventure points for winning. Just a design mechanic. I want leaders to advance faster, because why would you follow the leader if this other guy is the cool guy? So it is a 1-player game, and it actually does say rules for solo play are on pages EP 17 and EP 19. And it's a 1-player game, so I get 2 shadow points to spread however I would like. All right, and it's looking like number 3 is going to get it, because she's going to be able to level. Everybody else, just almost everybody leveled, so that's pretty sweet. All right, so I'm going to assign my 2 bonus points to Huntress 3, who was actually a big factor in this game. the fun part of the game is, before I even start about thinking about spending my money or what I'm going to do with my flying carpet, I'm going to go to my leader. He started the game at first level. He is now at 26 shadow, almost a third level. And he's got a roll coming for his level. It's 2d6. And he got a basic roll of a 7. That's kind of in the middle. And you're just going to have to kind of trust me on this. Flipping back and forth from the books is going to be annoying for a demo. So I keep a little table back here in vehicle storage of what I want to take for my next skill. On a single skill, I wanted number 1 to take Aware. And Aware is a great skill. First time you're hit in battle, it doesn't count. So I am going to write it all caps and bold it. And I usually... Oh, these are old. Yeah, okay, it's there. These are old rosters. But I do that as a reminder that I have Aware. So now I no longer have a ranker and I'm Aware. So that was really worthwhile. Number 3, I don't know why number 2 is showing up there. But when that happens, just click the WitchBorn logo, and then you can reveal your warriors again. All right. So let's save that. And then I get a skill roll for Huntress 3. And she was all over the board. She had the airship cargo for a while there. And she's going to roll /R 2d6. And she rolled a basic skill, unfortunately. All right. She got a doubles last time. Didn't come into play. But if, like, dire wolves would have come out, she has this thing called Beast Talker, which would have allowed her to control the dire wolves, which is really cool. So I was going to take First Strike for her skill, but I've got a bunch of beat up mooks here. So I'm going to take Healer. I think Healer used to be a trait. And it is no longer. So I'm going to pause a minute and decide who I'm going to heal based on their skill rolls. All right. And then number 5. Oh, Healer. I do need to mark Healer as a skill earned down here and Aware as a skill earned down here, which is going to push up my war clan value. You can see it's up to 192 so far. And it's going to go higher. All right. So I was level 1 with Predator with Huntress number 5 coming into the game. 15 points is second level. So she's going to get a new level. So she's going to roll 2d6. Now, this is the one time where double ones is really a good thing. All right, so a natural 2 could increase my speed permanently by 1, so I'd be up to an 8. I'd get an extra attack with all my weapons. I'm not that great of a fighter yet, so there might be something better to take. Let's see what I had decided to take on a doubles. I was going to take Swift, which is very similar to Speed, except instead of +1, it's +2. I've got my notes out here of what I want to buy for weapons and stuff too. So you can see I plan out. So Swift was you know, it's deadly on my leader. I'm just wondering if I'm missing something, because there's this great skill called Burst. It allows her to lower an ability score by 1 and raise one by 3 for a round. And I think I'm going to go against my initial instinct and take Burst. I've never seen anybody disappointed with Burst on a Huntress before, so. And like if I needed strength, adding +3 to my strength for a key attack, you know, that increases my damage too, so why not? All right, and then Rage Ender has Oath, so I think I'm going to have Huntress 3 heal Rage Ender. So healing does earn you 1 shadow point. And Oath is gone. Remember, I said you gotta remember to write those in right away, because you might not have the guys left. What if my guy didn't level up? I wouldn't have anybody to cure that Oath, right? So playing fairly is very important, and I'm going to roll 2d6 for her level. And it's just going to be a basic skill. All right. And as a basic skill, I was originally planning on taking Predator. And I'm going to remember to take the Boar Spear back. All right, so poor Stalker number 10 really never got to show off how cool she was. Ouch. -2 speed is almost unlivable. I'm going to change my mind. I am going to save my healing for my Stalker 10, and instead of Predator here, I'm going to take Healer. And a healer is allowed to heal their own wounds. And although Predator would have been nice, being an Oath is worse. Right? And so I'm going to get rid of that War Wound with -2 speed with number 3's healing abilities. And then I'm going to be allowed to use this new skill called Night Raider. And basically, I am, after the game, at night, I am raiding the camp of those Norn that were trying to force us in with the press gang. And that's going to give me a D66 roll. I'm just going to read this so that I don't screw it up. Raid an encampment and claim 1 new piece of equipment. Roll D66 plus my Wulfs level and refer to the night table for the equipment stolen. Equipment is absolutely free and may be distributed among packmates. Statistics for all are in the special Night Raider equipment section at the end of the guide. You guys don't have this. This is stuff I'm testing out. It's just a kind of a cool way to replace that scavenger skill that is going away. And there's some other neat things about it. When she leveled up, because she was a Night Raider, she could take 1 Norn skill from a list, and she chose Elude, which if she would have lived long enough, it would have been great. All right, so here's her D66 plus 1, 2d6 plus 1, 32. She's got a bedroll. Hey, anytime that you can get a reroll on a wolf, that is huge. And she's going to start to bonus up. She's got heavy javelin with an ladle. Doesn't do much damage yet. It's going to get there. It's going to get there. And when you roll that 1, she's going to like that reroll one time to, just absolutely make sure that she gets it. Actually, Stalkers, that's going to be one of the changes, is Stalkers start with Moonglow instead of a transformation. And so she's going to be able to Moonglow people as well. All right, so I'm pretty happy with that. And then my mage got Psyche last level, and she's going to level up as well. So /R 2d6. Whoops, I typed that wrong. /R 2d6. Oops, d6. Come on, doubles. Nope, skill. All right. Probably going to be prep spell, but let's see what I had decided I wanted. Yeah, I hadn't even. All right, so prep spell is gone. And I'm going to, take it on the mage. So, don't know if you're familiar with prep spell, but that would allow her to put 4 cold fires on before the game even starts. And that is a very, very effective way to make your clan a little tougher. All right, I am 2nd level, so I also have access to 2nd magnitude spells. So let me see what I want to try for. Do that on screen, and then we could probably call it, because it's going to take me a while to decide what equipment I want. All right, so go into War Mage Diary, and the next version of Children of the Moon is going to have some wolf-specific spells. I've got, I think, 10 or 12. But for now, I'm just living in the blue realm because I haven't had time to write them yet. So I can do Downpour, which is very effective. People don't really trust it. Gust, Ice Shards, Maelstrom, Mist, and Veil. They're all freaking fantastic. I'm going to try for Mist. I need to roll a 3 or better. Rolled a 2. That doesn't mean I can't try for something different, but it means I can't learn a Mist this time. So I'm going to try for Downpour, just because I want to demonstrate that it's pretty cool spell. And I got Downpour. All right. So, 8 gold that I won. I'm going to spend 3 on learning Downpour. All right, so Downpour, I don't have those stats memorized, but I think it's pretty impressive. All right, another auto spell. And then range, most people don't understand this, extra long. As long as I can draw a clear line of sight to the target, I can do anybody on the map. And I'm targeting a foe ×1. And basically, it limits line of sight to point blank when you're in that Downpour. So I could have done a Downpour earlier, like here in the midst of the birds. I could have done a Downpour on, say, Coop, and for 6 paces around him, their line of sight is limited to point blank, which is just really cruel. And no feat. I mean, it's automatic, and I mean, that is the elf killer spell that nobody ever takes. You just definitely want to do that to elves all day long. All right, so that gives you an idea. I know it was a little slow, a little long, but that gives you an idea of how the solo version works. It's very challenging. It's a lot of fun. I'm probably going to start doing it more. If you have questions, drop me a note either here or on Discord. And likewise, if you want to get in on our online games, we're always looking for players. If you don't want to play with me, but you're going to play with other people, there's always looking for a game. And, there's any time of day, there's somebody looking to play. And this can also help you for playing at home. Like I said, I do this here because it's easier to save if I don't finish the video and I don't need a cameraman. And, it's easier cleanup too for me. I just delete everything that's on the map and good to go. So it was a lot of fun. Invented something new, learned a bunch of new stuff. So I'm really excited. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks a lot.